Stop waiting for perfect. Why Black women must start building now. I want to tell you about a woman who is rewriting the rules of economic freedom for Black women everywhere. Her name is Aisha Abdul-Raqib, and she is not just a voice in the entrepreneurship space. She is a disruptor, a truth teller, a bridge builder for women who have been told they need permission, perfection, or piles of capital before they can start. Aisha's work is quietly revolutionizing how Black women think about agency, wealth building, and the audacity to create empires from ideas that start in group chats. She's showing us that the path to freedom does not require waiting for the world to be ready for us. It requires us to be audaciously ready for ourselves. And what she taught me, what the data is screaming at us, is a counterintuitive truth that could change everything for Black women standing at the crossroads of exhaustion and possibility. Here's what we have been told: we have been told that entrepreneurship is for the well funded, the well connected, the ones with business plans as thick as novels and networks that open doors before you even knock. We have been told that if you're going to start a business, you better have your ducks in a row, your LLC filed, your logo designed, your website live, your investor pitch polished to perfection. We have been told that starting small is starting wrong. But what if I told you that the very thing keeping so many brilliant, educated, capable Black women from building wealth is not a lack of resources? It is the myth that you need all of them before you begin. Let me paint you a picture. Black women are the most educated demographic in America. We hold more degrees. We lead more households. We show up. We deliver. We excel. And yet, between 2025 and 2026, Black women's unemployment climbed from 6.7% to 7.5%. That is not a small shift. That is 35,000 women pushed out of corporate spaces, sidelined, overlooked, undervalued, dismissed. And here is the kicker: while the labor market is closing doors on us, Black women are kicking down new ones. We own over 12 million small businesses in the United States, generating more than $2 trillion in sales, employing nearly 11 million people. We are not waiting for permission. We are building anyway. We are refusing to stay in bondage. But here is where it gets interesting, where Aisha Abdul Raqib flips the script entirely. She told me that the biggest barrier is not access to capital. It is not even access to networks. It is the belief that you have to start perfect. She calls it doing the absolute most. And sisters, we know this superpower well. We plan, we research, we overthink, we wait for the stars to align. And while we are waiting, the idea that could have fed our families, funded our freedom, and fueled our futures sits in a notebook gathering dust. Aisha shared a story with me that stopped me in my tracks. There was a woman, let's call her Keisha, who had an idea for a natural hair care line. Keisha spent 2 years researching suppliers, designing packaging, building a website, trying to figure out how to get into retail stores. 2 years. And in those 2 years, she did not make a single sale. Not because the idea was bad, not because there was no market, but because she was waiting to be ready. Then one day, Keisha Soror said, "Girl, just make a batch and bring it to the next chapter meeting." So she did. She made 20 bottles in her kitchen, posted a picture in the group chat, and sold out in 48 hours. That was the beginning. Not the LLC, not the logo, not the perfect plan, the group chat. This is the counterintuitive truth Aisha is preaching, and the data backs it up. You do not need strangers to validate your business. You need your warm circle, the people who already trust you, who already love you, who are already rooting for you. Your friends, your sorors, your church members, your cousins in the family group chat. These are not just your first customers, they are your proof of concept. They are your seed capital in human form. And here's the simplest version of starting that nobody talks about. You can start a business in the United States with just your social security number, a sole proprietorship, a DBA, doing business as, no lawyers, no filing fees, no waiting. You can soft launch tomorrow. You can test your idea, make your first dollar, learn what works, and iterate, all before you ever think about an LLC or a business plan. This is not about being reckless. This is about being resourceful. This is about reclaiming your agency in a world that keeps telling you to wait your turn. And now let's zoom out for a second, because this is not just an American story. Across the African continent, something extraordinary is happening. The Tony Elumelu Foundation launched a program called Iwaiba Way 4A, investing in young businesses in Africa. Women Entrepreneurs for Africa. In the first cohort alone, they funded 751 women led green businesses, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, climate innovation, with $5,000 each in seed capital, plus training, mentorship, and access to a platform called TIF Connect. These women were facing the same barriers we face: limited funding, male dominated industries, systemic exclusion, gender barriers that told them they did not belong. And yet, with just $5,000 and the right support, they scaled. They created jobs. They generated $4.2 billion in revenue. They pulled 2 million people out of poverty. Let me say that again: 2 million people out of poverty, because women were given a chance to start simple and scale smart. One woman in Kenya had been working in sustainable agriculture for years, but had no capital to expand. She applied to the program with a simple idea: help smallholder farmers access solar powered irrigation systems. She received $5,000 training on how to structure her business for growth, and mentorship from entrepreneurs who had walked the path before her. Within 18 months, her business was employing over 30 people and serving hundreds of farms. She was not waiting for a perfect plan. She was not waiting for massive funding. She started with what she had, and she built something that changed lives. Another woman in Nigeria had an idea for renewable energy solutions in rural communities that had never had consistent electricity. She had no formal engineering training. She had no investors. She had an idea, a community that needed power, and the audacity to start. Today, her business has brought electricity to thousands of homes and employs over 50 people. She did not wait for permission. She did not wait for perfect. She started with $5,000 and a vision, and she scaled with support. The second cohort of this program is funding over 1,000 more women right now. Applications closed January 25th, 2026. If you have a green business idea, if you are sitting on something that could create jobs, that could heal the planet, that could build generational wealth, tefconnect.com is where you go. This is not a dream. This is a blueprint. This is happening right now. But here's what Aisha wants us to understand: funding is not the only path. In fact, many Black women entrepreneurs succeed in year one without relying solely on business revenue. They bootstrap, they use personal savings, they sell to their warm circle first, they diversify their funding sources: grants, competitions, crowdfunding, side gigs. They get creative, because the goal is not to have a perfect business. The goal is to have a business that works for you, that gives you agency, that lets you build wealth on your terms. And let's talk about what agency really means. For too long, Black women have been told that our value is tied to how much we can carry, how much we can endure, how strong we can be. We have been the backbone of families, communities, corporations, and economies. We have been the ones who show up, who hold it down, who make it work. But what happens when the systems we have been holding up do not hold us back? What happens when corporate America pushes us out? when the unemployment rate climbs, when the glass ceiling becomes a concrete wall, we build our own doors. Entrepreneurship is not just about making money, it is about reclaiming your time, your energy, your peace. It is about saying, I will not wait for someone else to decide my worth. I will not shrink to fit into spaces that were never designed for me. I will build something that reflects my brilliance, my vision, my values. And I will start today, not when I am ready, but because I am ready enough. The Tony Elumelu Foundation's broader entrepreneurship program has supported 24,000 entrepreneurs across 54 countries with over $100 million in funding. These are not just numbers, these are lives transformed. These are communities lifted. These are women who refuse to accept that poverty, exclusion, or lack of access would define their futures. The program was founded by Nigerian philanthropist Tony Elumelu, rooted in a philosophy called Afrocapitalism, which believes that the private sector has the power to transform Africa through long term investments in key sectors. But what started as a poverty eradication initiative evolved into something even more powerful, a women empowerment movement, because they realized that when you invest in women, you do not just change one life, you change entire communities. These women have generated $4.2 billion in revenue. They have created and secured over 1.5 million jobs. They have proven that when Black women and African women are given access to training, mentorship, and seed capital, we do not just survive. We thrive, we scale, we build empires. This is the model. Start simple. Leverage your education, your networks, your skills, soft launch to your or warm circle, diversify your funding, access training and mentorship, and scale with ecosystems that believe in you, whether that is TEF Connect, whether that is local small business programs, whether that is your sorors pooling resources to invest in each other. Because here is the thing, the world is not going to hand us economic freedom. We have to build it. And the beautiful, terrifying, liberating truth is that we already have everything we need to start. We have our brilliance, we have our networks, we have our resilience, we have our refusal to stay in bondage. Whether that is the bondage of unemployment, of underemployment, of systems that do not see us, do not value us, do not make space for us. Aisha Abdul-Raqib is doing the work of reminding Black women that we are not just survivors, we are builders, we are innovators, we are wealth creators, and the simplest version of our idea, the one we can start this week, the one we can soft launch in a group chat, the one we can test with 20 bottles or 10 coaching sessions or 5 handmade products, that version is enough. That version is the beginning of everything. So here is my question for you. What is the simplest version of your business idea? What can you start this week? Not next year, not when you have $10,000, not when you have the perfect plan, but this week with what you already have, with the people who already love you, with the skills you have already mastered, because the world needs what you are building. Your community needs it, your family needs it, and you, sister, you need it. You need the agency, you need the freedom, you need the joy of building something that is yours. You need to step into your era of softness, not by doing less, but by doing what matters on your terms in your time with your people. The data is clear. Black women are the most educated demographic, yet we face the highest unemployment rates. We are being pushed out of spaces that were never built to hold us, but we are not waiting for those spaces to change. We are creating new ones. We are building businesses that generate trillions in sales. We are employing millions. We are transforming economies, and it starts with the audacity to begin. So I'm asking you today, will you wait for perfect? Or will you start with possible? Will you wait for strangers to validate you? Or will you trust the people who already believe in you? Will you wait for massive funding? Or will you leverage the $5, the $50, the $5,000 you can access right now? Will you stay stuck in planning mode? Or will you soft launch this week? Aisha Abdul-Raqib is showing us the way. The Tony Alumalu Foundation is showing us the way. The 12 million Black women business owners in America are showing us the way. The 751 African women who turned $5,000 into 4.2 billion in revenue are showing us the way. And now it is your turn. Start simple, start now, and rise unapologetically because the world is not going to wait for you to be ready, but your community is ready for what you have to offer. Your family is ready, your future is ready. So stop waiting for perfect. Start building now.